Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, this week's going to be interesting. Right now, the put to call ratio is really nothing to talk about. It's at 0.53. It's not extremely low. Now, the economic calendar for the week, however, is got a lot going on. Nothing Monday. Tuesday the 15th, we have core CPI and CPI month and year, so that's going to be big. We got Fed speakers throughout the day. Wednesday, we got core PPI and PPI monthly, so we got both inflation, CPI and PPI. PPI is Wednesday, and we had some Fed speakers. Thursday, we have core retail sales and unemployment claims, so that's going to be pretty big. And then Friday, we have consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock. So lots of big data coming out. That should end up making the market move. Now, it's kind of hard to predict what's going to happen. We've had the tariffs going on for several months right now, and we could start to see the implications of those tariffs as far as inflation wise. Inflation may pop, I don't know. So those inflation numbers are going to be very, very important, and anything the market doesn't like, it's going to have a could shock it. So just be prepared that. And we also have rumors around Powell resigning or Trump firing him. Who knows if that happens? If that does happen, the market is going to freak out. The last time we had a Fed chair put back in office or a new one switch, market freaked out. We had a flash crash because that was back in 2018, I think, when Chair Powell was nominated. The market didn't know what his stances were, what was going to happen, so it freaked out and flash crashed. Every time we have a new Fed chair, the market doesn't like that because they don't know what's going to happen. So I'm sure since then this circuit breakers involved, and they probably won't let it flash crash as much. There could be panic, definitely, but I don't think we could see a massive flash crash. We could see lots of halts or something, maybe, if it even does happen. I mean, I could be like speaking about it for no reason whatsoever. It might not even happen, but I'm just saying that if it does happen, Powell does resign or quit, or Trump fires him, the market's going to be down 20 points in a matter of minutes. I know it will trigger a circuit breaker if it drops too fast, too hard, but we could end up seeing some really volatile moves like we used to see during COVID. So we could definitely see 20, 30, 40 point days if that does happen. But I could be just speaking about this for no reason whatsoever, but I'm just trying to get you mentally prepared that if something does happen, that does happen, this could be major. So inflation data will probably be a knee-jerk or two, so we'll have to see what happens. It's hard to predict what's going to happen. We're just one headline away from the market taking a massive dump, so what that will be, I don't know. With that said, SPY, we're going to look at both directions. It's got a gap to fill over 625. SPY has got gaps everywhere. Down on the downside, 602, 570s, 630s. I mean, we got tons of gaps, but SPY just loves to fill the gaps from the gap downs. The gap ups, it does not like filling. I don't know. It will take, these gaps will fill, but that could be 6 months from now, 6 years from now. Who knows? But these when SPY gaps up, they don't usually like to fill the gaps. When the gaps now, if SPY gaps down, they fill them pretty quick. Usually that day or that week. So that said, we'll keep an eye on SPY in both directions. We'll play it by ear, based on what happens overnight in the pre-market on the futures. So I'd be watching SPY over 625 for push to new all-time highs. I mean, it gets over 626 or 627. We could push to 630, 635 pretty fast. But if something does happen, we get under 623, we'll push to 620, 615, 610, 605, 600 is going to be a big psychological number, especially with a gap fill right here. That could be something interesting to pay attention to. So with data coming out, the thing I hate about SPY and futures is that we'll get a massive move pre-market at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and we'll get that massive move. Then when the market opens, nothing happens. That's been happening a lot lately. I hate that, but you know, it is what it is. With that said, let's look at VIX to see what VIX is at. VIX is down at about 1640. Yeah, I mean, but the VIX floor is right around 1514. The real floor, I mean, those just the intermediate floor is around 14, 15, but the real solid floor is around 12. Whether we touch that or not, one thing we'll have to see. But I'll be very surprised if the data is good, inflation's coming down or in line, and the market pops. I'll be surprised if that happens. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy puts and think the world's going to end, because it's probably not. If you go out and try to predict Powell getting fired or data or anything like that, you're going to lose more than you're going to win. Don't try to do that. Just play the reaction. So I mean if SPY does pop, we could pop tomorrow, Monday, and we could lose it all on inflation. So yeah, SPY's got room to run a little bit, make more all-time highs, and VIX has got room to drop to 12. 12 is something I would really start paying attention to, but I don't think we're going to get there. I think something's going to happen this week. I think we'll maybe get to 15, and I think that we'll end up popping. VIX will end up popping, so we'll have to see. Now, a couple of things I'm watching is Disney. I know I'm rambling a lot, but I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of a pep talk and what to expect if certain scenarios play out. But Disney doesn't like going too far. It gets into this 120 area and dumps. 120 dump, 120 dump, 120, and we're going to dump. We're underneath 120 right now, so I would watch it underneath. I don't want to go 115. That's pretty far away. Friday's low is 119. We'll say 119. Gets under 119. Watch for 115, 110. Get a gap fill at 106, 15. And they got gap support right at 100. So it'd be nice to see if we can get to gap support right here at 100 on that, and maybe fill the gap. So Disney, definitely one to keep an eye on. We got earnings coming up. Season coming up, so in the next few weeks, a lot of stocks are so overbought, like Microsoft, Netflix, Nvidia. So when their earnings comes out, that needs to be perfect, and guidance needs to be perfect. And for me, I mean, maybe the earnings will come in perfect, but the guidance I can't imagine will be good, especially if inflation starts picking up and we're going to start seeing the effects of tariffs. So a lot of these overbought companies, like the ones I mentioned, could get hammered on for ER. This new ER coming up, that could be the one that sends the market down. It might not be Powell at all. Powell may still stay as Fed chair, and inflation comes in line, nothing really happens, and ER is the culprit that sends the market down. So, but that's weeks away. Well, it starts this week a little bit. Netflix is this week, but the others, the big ones, will be reporting in the next couple of weeks. So that Disney I just went over. BA is another one. BA, I'm actually surprised, went over 220 over here. So, but we got a bearish divergence going on. Prices going up, RSI is going down, histogram's going down. We got multiple indicators showing it's going to drop. So I would watch it underneath 225 for push to 220, 205, 210, 200. It gets underneath 195. You definitely could end up seeing a pretty decent drop down to probably the 180, 170 area on BA. So definitely keep an eye on that. Meta is one. I mean, it double topped right up here on the weekly, right around this 750 area, 745 area. So it's starting to pull back. Last time it was up here, it pulled back pretty good. I don't know if we'll get that kind of a pullback or not, but I would watch it underneath 710, or even maybe a little underneath 714 for push to 710, 700. Basically every $10, 690, 680, down to the 675 would be a big area. 650 will be a big area too on Meta. So now if it does manage to pop, get over 750, we could end up seeing a pretty strong move, probably shoot up to 800 maybe on Meta, but I just don't know. It's hard to tell. Microsoft is another one. I mean, look at that. That's just a monster run. It's just a drunk on hopium. RSI has been in the 70s since the last earnings, and earnings is going to have to be perfect. I mean, seriously. I mean, this is since earnings, it's went from almost $100, $80 since earnings, and it's just crazy. RSI is so high, and it's diverging here and there. It's at 70 plus on the weekly, so I would watch it underneath 500 for push to 490, 480, 470, 460, 450. So yeah, lots of crazy things could end up happening on the horizon, so just be prepared for it. And that's going to do it. Thanks for watching.